everyone, hope you've had a good start to the week. First activity today is a reading activity, but it could also be a writing activity. And what I've done is I've got a piece of paper and then I've got another piece of paper and just created a little flap here. And under the flap I've drawn an animal, so I've drawn a pig, and then I've covered it over with the flap. And then above the flap I've written some clues. So the idea is they read the clues and then they have to try and figure out what animal is underneath the flap. We've done this before at school and the children love trying to work out what the animal is, and it doesn't really feel like a reading activity to them. To them it's more a game trying to work out what the animal is. What I've done is I've tried to make the sentences quite simple, and you might also be able to see that I've drawn some lines underneath some of the letters. So you can see, for example, in live, I've put a line under the V and the E, and the lines just show the children that those letters just make one sound. So for live, the V and the E just make the V sound. And drawing these lines underneath the letters just makes it a little bit simpler for the children, because they know when they see those lines that it's just one sound. So it's a bit of a prompt for them that those letters there just make one sound. And the same with like, that line across from the I to the E shows them that that's just one sound and it makes the I sound. So reception children probably wouldn't know this sound yet, because this is a set 3 sound, and so you would just tell them that that sound there makes the I sound. Because if they didn't have that line across showing them that it makes the I sound, if they were just to sound it out, they would sound out ick, liquor. So yeah, you just have to tell them that one. And so I did this one first, and we read it and then worked out what the animal was. And then we did this today, and what I did was then I said, I'm going to do another one, would you like to do one? And my little girl ended up writing one of her own today as well. What you might like to do is do one first for them to have a go at reading at, because it's great reading practice. And then what I sometimes do when I want her to have a go at an activity is I start doing one myself, and then often, because she sees me doing one, she wants to do one as well. So sometimes, rather than saying to them, right, you do one now, sometimes it's quite nice to just start doing one yourself, and then often they see you do one and then they want to join in as well. So yeah, we did another one. So I did this one. So just to give you an idea of another one. So again, I've underlined some of the letters where they make, so you can see I've done the ow, the k and the v, but I've not done them all in this one. So there were other words that I could have underlined, so I've not done them all. But yeah, I'll just quickly show this one. So I am yellow, I have brown spots, I have a long neck, I live in a hot country. And then underneath, we've got the little giraffe there. For this one, so I had to tell my daughter today that for the brown, she just knows this sound as O. But obviously in brown it makes an ow sound, which they learn in set 3. So I just had to point out today that in this word, these two letters make the ow sound. And yeah, that's the first little activity. So it could just be a reading activity. If they're not interested in writing one for themselves, you could just keep it as a reading activity. But if they are interested, they could have a little go at making their own version. Then the next activity is a number activity, a maths activity. And what I've got is some Play-Doh and a knife, and it's just a really simple activity introducing halving. And so I'm going to pretend that this Play-Doh is a pizza, and we've made a pizza and we want to cut it in half. and we just discuss how when we halve something we need to cut it into 2 equal parts, and then I might get her to have a go at it and see if she can do it into 2 equal parts. And then what I might do is I might model a few and say, have I cut it into equal parts? And then sometimes I might cut it into the equal parts, but then I might also show her, cut it here and say, right, have I cut it in half now? So you could do this with Play-Doh, or you could do it with actual food. We've done it before in school with bread, and they've had to halve the bread. For reception children, you might just want to stick at halving, but if you've got a year 1 child, you might want to have a go at cutting things into quarters as well. If they're confident with cutting things into halves, the next thing to look at would be cutting things into quarters. So yeah, that's just 2-minute activity, just discussing halving and talking about equal parts. And if you've got a year 1 child, you could extend it to cutting things into quarters.